Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, sXeblues, and today I'm bringing for you another bunch of DC Comics New 52 reviews. Starting us off, we're going to be looking at Aquaman number 3. We start this issue with a great flashback to Arthur and his dad when Arthur was a boy. The scene carries a very poignant sentiment as we pick up with Aquaman and Mera currently fighting members of the Trench, where we left off in issue number 2. Now without his trident, one of the Trench jumps at Arthur and successfully sinks his teeth into Arthur's shoulder. All the while, Mera is using fisticuffs as well as her water-manipulating powers to fend off Trench attackers. Aquaman's eventually thrown by the Trench creature, being called bad food, before he orders the others to bring the food they've captured, innocent humans and dead Trench members alike, back to their home. With things suddenly quiet again, Arthur is one step ahead of the police, because he's realized the Trench have actually cocooned some of the people that they've taken, a point he proves by opening the cocoon found in the previous issue and revealing a dog that was trapped inside it. One remaining and weak Trench crawls out of the shadows then and is shot in the head by one of the cops. Arthur wants to try to figure out where it came from, but the cops try to give Aquaman the brush off, claiming they'll put in a word to make him look good. But Arthur mans up and takes the Trench anyway. He brings it to Stephen Shin, the man from his father's old photos in the previous issue, a man who helped him hone his powers when he was a boy and then tried to kill him, as he relates to Mera when he refused to show Shin where Atlantis was located. And though Arthur gets some helpful information from Shin, we see he's really still as obsessed and troubled as when Arthur was a boy. The issue basically ends then with Aquaman and Mera heading underwater to follow the clues Shin gave them. And I'll leave it there. As far as showing a page in the issue, I'm going to go with the sunset in the flashback that begins the issue. And really, there were actually quite a number of pages I couldn't decide between showing. Just really epic. And otherwise, this was a really good issue, so I'm going to be rating it 4 out of 5. And that'll actually get us moving on to Batman and Robin, number 3. As we begin this issue, Bruce is busy tightening the security surrounding Wayne Manor, now that he's aware the cat Morgan, who was introduced in the previous 2 issues, is in town. He's been keeping Damien holed up there as well, fearing Morgan's coming for him. But though he issues Damien the order for the 3rd night in a row to stay behind while he goes out on patrol, Damien is hardly thrilled to just sit by and name his new dog and play chess with Alfred as he's been doing, and takes it upon himself to go out anyway. The little exchange between he and Alfred when Damien notices he's placed a tracker on his motorcycle is cool, because as he does in their chess game, Damien again underestimates Alfred, and Alfred slips another one on him. As Robin, he successfully stops 2 muggers from killing their victims in an alley not long after, mocking the fact that they just got their asses beat by a 10-year-old. And here we catch a glimpse of his seeming bloodlust coming to the fore again as he beats the hell out of one of the downed muggers. Enter Morgan, who in a scene very similar to one that you might see in the Teen Titans animated series, where Slade Wilson would try to tempt Dick Grayson's Robin to come over to his darker side, Morgan tries to spur Damien on that he's effectively killed the perp with his beating. In a show that brings me some relief, Damien is outraged when Morgan murders the passed-out mugger, claiming that it was Damien who made him brain-dead with his beating. Soon thereafter, Morgan knocks Damien out, and that's when Batman enters the fray, just in the nick of time. It is almost entirely powerless to thwart Morgan's ultrasound sonic blasts, and apparently both of them pass out. And soon thereafter, the issue ends with both Batman and Robin coming to in a new and somewhat strange situation, and that's all I'll say. As for showing a page in the issue, though, the moment when Batman arrives to save Robin is pretty damn epic, because keep in mind, folks, he's there to save his son. And as for rating the issue, I'm going to go solid 4 out of 5. I've been really digging all of these new 52 books so far. But that'll actually be getting us on to The Dark Knight, number 3. We begin this issue in the heat of fisticuffs between Batman and an uber-Bane-sized Joker that debuted at the end of the last issue. And as they're fighting, Batman reasons by the fact that Joker is predominantly left-handed, this isn't the Joker. In a fantastic twist, we find out it's actually Clayface. And with Clayface's defeat coming soon thereafter, Batman is then approached by the menacing White Rabbit. Though as it turns out, Bats has backup on the way in the form of a killer guest appearance by none other than the Flash himself. White Rabbit somehow escapes the scene without being seen by the entering Barry Allen, which is kind of odd. A short time later, we catch up with Lieutenant Forbes, the current thorn in the side of Commissioner Gordon of late. He's viewing the scene of the wrecked train that he knows Batman went into, and he's ticked off. He wants to take Batman down for, as he sees it, interfering in cases. But as Forbes finally arrives home, a tied-up Clayface is dropped onto his car. Batman confronts him. with some pointedly threatening words, effectively to say, "butt out of my business or else." We then catch up with Bruce having a date with Jai, the woman he met in issue number 1, and she makes a statement not unlike one that he heard White Rabbit say in his confrontation with her as Batman. But after the date, it's back to the business at hand, tracking down the maker of this new toxin. It's got elements of Scarecrow's fear toxin, as we know from issue number 2, but Bats also finds traces that speak of poison ivy. Ivy's a member of the current incarnation of the Birds of Prey, according to Batman, but regardless, he and Flash team to confront her. Flash inadvertently pricks his thumb on a poisoned thorn as they approach Ivy's hideout, and Batman tells him to run so his metabolism can effectively burn out the toxin. And we're left at the issue's end with the hanging question of where is Poison Ivy? As for showing a page in the issue, I want to go with the 2-page spread of Clayface being revealed as not having been the Joker the entire time. And as for rating the issue, I'm actually going to rate it 4 out of 5 because it was a pretty solid issue. And that'll actually be getting us on to The Flash, number 3. When you talk about epic New 52 issues, this one will soon be among them. Taking off shortly after the EMP-like blast that blacked out all of Central City at the end of issue number 2, Barry races across a bridge trying to catch up with a crashing jetliner. He's relating how through drinking coffee he inadvertently stumbled onto his ability to phase through solid objects and walls, a power he uses now, not once but twice. Once to phase into the airplane, and then the second time to phase the entire plane through the bridge. Very, very epic way of saving everybody on board. We then shortly catch up with Manuel, still a captive of his many clones, and we get to see in a bit of a flashback the revelation that the government used cell manipulation based on regeneration effects present at the fetal stage to make it possible for him to regrow his hand. Doctor Who, anyone? And thus become an unstoppable soldier. But his clones are apparently dying due to imbalances inherent to the cloning process and want to harvest necessary components from Manuel to survive. A little bit of Metal Gear Solid in there as well. As a result of the blackout, we see Iris West is fitted in an untimely interview with none other than Captain Cold, Leonard Snart himself, in prison. He and his fellow rogues are taking full advantage of the situation, making their grand escape. Flash, meanwhile, works as fast as he can to help as many people as he can in the blackout, rescuing kids, construction workers, and such. We then catch up briefly with Dr. Elias, who's tracking energy readings through the desert that are related to the EMP's effects, as well as Barry's friend Patty, through which we find Keystone City, not just Central, has also blacked out. Barry and Patty team together as part of their precinct's initiative to help people in both cities, but in reality Patty wants to track down a scientist linked to what she discovered about the cloning and the cell regeneration studies. They manage to find where the clones are keeping Manuel and get caught by the clones before they can escape. Barry tells Patty and Manuel to run, and after they've escaped facing off with the clones, Barry's mind goes into super speed. But as the issue comes to a somewhat shocking climax, it appears Barry wasn't as prepared as he thought. As for showing a page in the issue, the brilliant 2-page spread of him phasing that plane through the bridge is just tons of epic. And as for rating the issue, if you haven't guessed already, solid 5 out of 5. So that's actually going to do it for this installment of DC Comics New 52 Reviews. So, hope you're all well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.